Alright, now I'm going to be doing a LUX test again with the Swampeye HD. As you can see here, I've got it all hooked up with its own converter there, and I've got it powered on, the rotary dial there, and this is the same setup as before. 10 feet from the light to the sensor, 120 inches. And in the warmest setting, all the way to the left is the warmest setting, and here's the meter there, about 520. Got the light just balancing right on the edge of the test station. So I'm going to try to get that number to go as high as I can again. Let's just call it 520. Okay. I just rotate it back and forth like this to try to get that number to go as high as I can. About 520-ish. Alright, so now I'm going to be doing a LUX test with the 130 watt efficiency Maximus light. And as you can see, I've got the power supply hooked up here and the AC cable going into the outlet. And I've got two driver packs, one for each bank of LEDs, and they are daisy chained together to operate on the same controller. And I've got 3 cables, 2 for the light, 1 for the controller. And then I've got the controller on, turned all the way up, and in the warmest setting. Maximus light is there. And then I've got the light positioned about 10 feet from the sensor. Again, here you go, 120 inches. So again, this test does not say much about where the light is going. It is just a pinpoint measurement of the light source at a given distance. Pinpoint measurement of light, which is basically the measurement of its intensity. So again, it says very little of where that light is actually going. So it's not measuring light over there, it's not measuring light down here or anywhere else other than that on that sensor. So everything is on. I get in the warmest color, and let's make the number go as high as we can here. Okay. So I'm going to rotate the light back and forth a little bit just to make it go up as high as we can get it. So the further back I go, the less light is hitting the sensor, because again, the brightest point of any light, or LED light I should say, the brightest point of it is directly head on from the chip. So if I tip it down far, you're below the termination line. Not going to get much light there, so I tip it back. And then the more light hits that sensor, the higher the number goes. So here we are about 1600 and something. $16.35. Alright, so now I'm going to do the LUX test in the highest white setting for the Swampeye HD. Again, the higher white spectrum is naturally going to make more lumens per watt than the warmer spectrum. we checked the color spectrum on the HD with a spectrometer, and it goes up to about 6,500 Kelvin, which is significantly higher than what most people use for bow fishing. Usually it's about 4,000 K is about as high as you would normally go. So anyway, this is where we're at here for the highest white setting. All the way over. And then I've got the light again at the edge. Same distance, 10 feet, 120 inches. And we are approximately 866, 160 watt Swampeye HD. About 870-ish. About as high as I can get it. Now I'm going to be doing a LUX test on the 130 watt efficiency Maximus light. So as you can see, I've got everything hooked up the same way as before. AC going into the converter, 2 driver packs for the Maximus, and then we got 2 cables for the Maximus for the upper and lower, and then 1 more cable for the controller. Got the controller turned on here all the way up, highest white setting, all the way up, and then so the distance between the test station, the light, and the sensor is again 10 feet, 120 inches. There's the Maximus light right here. And then, so again, the LUX test is just a pinpoint measurement of light from that light source at a given distance. So the more light that hits this sensor, the higher the number on the meter goes. This is more or less just a measurement of that light's intensity. So let's go ahead with this here. So I'm going to zoom in on the meter, and I'm going to make that number go as high as I can. It's in the same setting as all the previous tests, and going to start tipping the light back a little bit. So we're off the scale. So it goes all the way up to 1900 and skips over to air it out. It's aired out because the intensity is too high for the sensor. So what I'm going to do is adjust the meter to the next range. Here you can see the ranges here. I'm going to hit that button, and essentially moves a decimal point over. So everything you see on there now is times 10. So like before, instead of 1300, we're 130. So that number is actually times, you got to multiply it by 10 to get the actual reading there at 10 feet. So now I'm going to tip it back here and make that number go as high as we possibly can. About 240. Oops. Just about 240 there, 238, 240. So that multiplied by 10 is 2,400 in basically in the setting that we tested all the other lights in.